It's time for game one.
It's time for game one, brother.
Let's get into it, baby. These stacked lobbies, they're all good to go. We are live from TwitchCon. Game one, heat one. Who will rise to the occasion and potentially have their lives changed this weekend with an incredible placing? Again, life-changing amount of money on the line with the amount of the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of viewers online that'll tune in throughout the weekend. The recognition you can get. We talked about Morgos from back at PAX. Comes in a no-name now. Obviously, widely respected, one of the winningest players in Fortnite history in regards to prize money. But here we go. I'll look at everyone dropping on in. And again, this weekend, players playing on both mouse and keyboards. Some elected to go with, controllers, which we'll talk about. Some big names out there, both, Xbox and PS4 represented.
Now, we've seen in the past, regardless of what play setup they're utilizing, it has not really diminished the performance. Nick Merckx and Aiden at PAX West put on an excellent show, both controller players.
Yep.
Now, out here, this little set of buildings, this is a pretty common drop for Tfue and Cloak.
Oh, yeah.
A ton of loot concentrated in one area, not often contested. I think most likely because players understand Tfue is going to be here every single time. This is his go-to spot, and I wouldn't want to contest it either.
And what's funny is Tfue is going to be rocking that no skin setup. That's just how he is. So you almost are certain if you land at this area on the map and you see a no skin setup, it's going to wind up being Tfue. I'll look there.
Looks like Kaz probably took about 50% of his health off.
And he's only got the basic burst assault rifle there, and that's rough. Looks like his teammate's going to be pushing on forward. They want to make some sort of play, maybe get into an advantageous position. You saw both these players, no shields, not the case for Tfue and Cloaksy, as they should have a health advantage.
You notice too at the bottom of your screen. Acid down to 10 HP, backing out. The opportunity gets the knock on Chaos. The AR shots, excellent.
Just
there.
like that.
Capitalizing, I mean, this is their drop zone.
And immediately gets the heavy shotgun as well. My favorite weapon, to have to swap on over to for that close range engagement. Tfue and Cloaksy, the exact start you expect from two of the best players in the world. You can make an argument for them potentially being the best duo. And that's what the point is of this weekend. We've seen solo competitions up to this point. What differences do you think players can expect or viewers can expect watching duos versus the solos play we've seen maybe from back during the summer skirmish finals?
Well, you have an opportunity in duos or when you have a teammate like that to maybe risk a trade a little more often than you would. Obviously in solos, the second you get it, that's it, you're done, right? But if Cloak or Tfue or any of these duo players, they push in and try and take advantage of maybe height, or they know that the target doesn't have any shield, that kind of thing, and they can force a trade. If their teammate is positioned well, you can finish that elimination. You can pick your teammate up. A more aggressive gameplay, it'll happen just naturally.
Sure. And you got to remember too, the huge difference between solos and duos. And here's the new 6-shooter weapon, currently in the hands of Vicious. One thing to point out is there is the communication factor that you have to wind up, communicating, speaking with your teammate. You can have some of the biggest blunders by not being on the same page. One player gets aggressive, one stays back. That can wind up costing the duo the game.
You see right here, the team that Cookie Monster and Big Vicious are up against, they're actually split, which is why Cookie, I think, is taking the opportunity to push over a little bit to the left. They're focusing on just one player because Novi is up there now pushing in towards the tennis courts, but they're so distant from each other that if one knockdown happens, you can almost guarantee that's going to be elimination.
And again, you can see how scrappy the loot is at the start of these games. Still 92 players remaining as well. Noobtra, the big 60 tag, and that should be the note to just go for Novi as they're going to begin to push on forward. You see immediately the opposing player, that's Cookie Monster, has to fall back and try to protect Vic Vicious as she's just stuck down in the box. Cookie Monster now surrounded. Vic Vicious, one shot as well. Doesn't look like a good ending here. And
tough spot to be there. The kind of the split turned into an opportunity to take advantage of that low HP situation. Like you said, as soon as the 60 tag came out, teammate called it out. Now's the time to push because you know that is almost a guaranteed knockdown.
100%. And now with the first zone beginning to close, you see Novi just healing on up, staying hidden. Has a mini as well. It looks like they've claimed Lazy Links. Now over to Tilted Towers, a place where you expect to see a lot of action this weekend. Tinny and Ifa, you've talked about this. Tinny, someone we've seen participate in online, especially in Europe before.
And he's an excellent player. I played against him when he was partnered with Vicstar many moons ago. Very, very cognizant of what's going on around him. It's very difficult to get a pinch on players like this.
For sure.
Now, stuck here in Tilted Towers, we don't have the common roster of player names we've seen here before.
Yep. But
I would expect, typically in a drop like this, there's a lot of loot to gather. There's a lot of materials. You see they're just taking out every single wall they can. Competitive Fortnite is very build focused. You can, as we've seen in the past, a lot of players will build up their bases and push in the zone almost in tunnels. But in a place like Tilted, players are going to stay away from each other because there's just so much there to harvest, so much loot to get, and they don't want to risk an early elim because that's low rank. You know, your placement, you get hurt big time.
Absolutely.
Aggressive gameplay.
It's all the way on the outskirts of the map. You can see Tfue.
Sean already eliminated here.
He's got one player just above him. That's why he's panicked. Down in this lower area, only 75 HP, only 150 wood to his name, so he can build 15 walls. That's about it. Look at this. Yeah, just staring straight down.
It's actually a 1v1. I would expect then that Flame was eliminated from either Kane or Sean.
Yeah.
And the other way around. So you have the problem now is they're just outside the zone. Somebody's going to have to move, and they know that.
For sure. And here's the big thing to take note of as well. Still 87 players left in the game. Remember, it is 3 eliminations to earn a first point. We know Cloaksy had 2 earlier. I don't believe anyone's on the board quite yet, but again, we'll keep you up to date. It looks like the FPS wants to begin to make something happen as he's closing on in. He hears the edits. He hears the player below him.
53 seconds in the zone before it closes, which means he's probably got about 30 before it starts to get to him. They're both going to have to make a move relatively soon. The shots coming out from underneath, though, trying to knock him down. Get a little drop down. Remember, too, since they're playing the 6.20 patch, the FPS could build up and just glide away if needed.
Oh, yeah. As right now, Kayun just still playing this low ground. The zone is now here. Wondering if he's going to go ahead and use this launch pad or not to just try to disengage, reset up for a new fight. Look at the ammo situation, the materials. It's all so low. The FPS is left. So now Kayun might be able to just run out unscathed. It looks like he has actually no idea.
To gatekeep right now.
Oh, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Hello, Fred. There's the shots. Only connects twice. There's still a chance here for Kayun. That's a huge tag for 46 damage. The zone now there as well. It's only ticking for 1. Look at the material count, though, Lupo. Down to just 27 metal, 14 brick, a well-placed floor, 12 HP, the elimination. The FPS will live to see another day.
Smart play there. You see a move he pulled in the middle of that was literally like jumping over the top of his target, taking the shotgun blast, and placing the floor immediately afterwards to catch himself. You can get top-down shots on opponents without falling to the same elevation as them, just with the speed of being able to build.
See Rift to go used as players are going to begin this rotation. Now, when you get to the second zone, right, the map obviously begins to close on in, but when you get towards it, it's almost like you're going, hey, where do we want to set on up? How do we want to prepare this early on in the game? You see, with the Rift to go, it looks like they're going to try to get far, far in towards this zone, set up early on, build up some of those one-by-one structures, some protection to be able to just, as you mentioned, gatekeep players moving on in.
See a decent amount of materials on the right side of the screen there, 141. Typically, these competitive players call out just the 100 spot, maybe a 151. You said 492 brick.
Yep.
But that's enough this early in the game that you can build yourself into a box, but they might not realize. First of all, it looks like doubled back there, potentially seeing that there was a team directly in front of them as they were rotating south. They have a chance now to kind of turtle up inside here. Little shield sharing happening.
This is big. One thing we've actually seen more and more now beginning to be used are those boogie bombs that were never really picked up, but now they've been adjusted to, you know, be picked up in 2 stacks. You can also hit, you see he's hitting that corner edge. Not only can you break the base, but you see how they're hitting those corner edges? This is like 300 plus stone off of this one hut that a lot of people don't actually know just how valuable it is. Heads up play from Frizzable and Dordan to take advantage of that. Just prior to them doing that, we saw Nice and Nice's teammate, full shields right in front of them, ready to go. Seems like they've at least moved closer towards retail row for now, and here's our scoreboard.
So Nubtra and Nova, the only team thus far with 3 eliminations between the 2 of them, which is 1 point. So they're in an excellent position right now, both carrying at least a bit of shield. Maybe not at the state where they feel comfortable taking an engagement. Not looking like Cloak and Tfue. 2 eliminations there, full health, full shield. Same with Frankie and Johan. Excellent positions for a lot of these players, but a number of them, even with elimination or 2 for the team, are missing a teammate. You saw, I think, 4 or 5 of the top rank thus far are already out.
Now, one big thing that winds up happening, too, is players that get in super early engagements, for example, Tfue and Cloak, they got those 2 elims very early. They were then able to shield on up, get to 200 health. They now farmed their entire area of materials. And I'm sure they're sitting pretty, look, they are early in position in retail row. They're set up and ready to go. You see here, almost max wood now for Bartonologist as well, someone who we've seen play in a lot of the online skirmish events. And he's a fantastic solo player, looking to see how he performs here in duos.
We don't often see players bunkering up inside the buildings of retail row. Well, you do have underneath Bartonologist and Bravo. You have a team directly underneath them. Tfue, Cloak, like you said. Looks like Hero and Bosswuji are moving into the residential side. You have a number of teams now. Just you'll see what they're doing there, and Frosty and Vertnex are an excellent example. They've destroyed the walls of the house and immediately replaced them with their own structure that they can edit. It's taking control of the surfaces of a building that's already established. You can move in and at least initially feel safe, but they'll knock them out, immediately replace, because you have a structure built there without having to do anything. It's already built for you.
So now something interesting is about to begin to kind of move into play in the next few moments here. There's something in the rules this weekend called Make It Rain. And there it is, the air horns go off. Right now what winds up happening is during these next 2 zones, the duo with the most eliminations, there's a Make It Rain bonus. You see there on the side of your screen, $10,000.
Just on the spot.
Each game, it winds up $10,000 on the line between these zones. You also wind up having a situation where if it's tied with eliminations or if nobody gets an elim, then the money carries on to the next game and then doubles.
So the next game it could be 20,000.
Exactly, and it could keep going.
If it happens again, then
yes.
30,000.
Yes.
Each game that the Make It Rain bonus is not obtained, it rolls over to the next game.
And it looks like we've already had an elimination come on in here as Megan and Mitro just gonna try to heal on up. They're staying alive inside, inside containers. Players now built up all around them. You see here, players now beginning to build on top of each other, and this is a part where in the late game these huts get built. They start getting the high ground versus the low ground. It's all about quick edits, being able to claim what's yours. You knock out the walls of a building, you replace it with your walls. You want as much edit control as possible around you to ensure that no matter what, you can react to any scenario that comes up.
And you do have a team underneath these 2 players sitting up top. Norse and Mr. Mowgli. They're just kind of waiting at this point. This is a pretty, actually taking shots to their southeast there. Looks like a ramp was built up. Because of that glider mechanic change, you'll see that quite a bit, where there will just be single platform ramps built up into the sky, because these players, the risk of taking fall damage, it's kind of gone unless you're just not paying attention to what's going on. You can, as long as it's 3 stories or more underneath you when you jump, you can redeploy your glider at literally any height.
Again, we're going ahead and getting the elimination feed here for you guys here soon, getting that all worked on out. But back over towards retail row, everyone who moved on in early looking to gatekeep players who have the zone at their back. The Make It Rain bonus still active for another 3.5 minutes. You see there, Giganza and Vilex now. This is what I'm talking about with these quick edits. See how they just keep claiming areas? You don't want to just have one little 1x1, and look at the shields in the inventory. 2 big shields, 2 mini shields. He's already popped a slurp, and he has a chug jug as well. All sorts of healing as the game goes on.
It's an interesting thing too. While he's trying to recover there is a team immediately adjacent to them, just taking shots, trying to knock these walls out and take possession. They're doing a really good job. One of the techniques they use is editing a window into one of the sides, then immediately resetting it so that they can see through as the wood, or whatever structure type it is, whatever material it is, as it rebuilds. Because being able to edit peak was removed quite a while ago. You see there the gray squares taking up all the vision that you would normally have. Instead, they can kind of just do a quick reset. The shots trading back and forth there. Giganza looks like he's knocked down, which means Vilex has to take an opportunity here. Sneak some shots. He's trying to edit his way out, but couldn't quite get it. Kevlar and Bluehawk
Jeez.
Securing.
Look at it's just apparently it's like chug jugs just everywhere that are on the ground.
I got minis on me.
You hear that? Minis on me. Chug jug. I'm popping all these. Chug jugs they're a double-edged sword because late game it's really tough to be able to take those 15 seconds to pop that chug jug.
It's a big risk. Plus, these players, they can hear the use time. So as soon as they know someone around them is popping, if they're maybe through a layer or two and you're close enough to hear just the sound of drinking the chug jug, they'll get aggressive and push. They'll cancel it. They might not even push all the way into the box that their opponent's in using the chug jug, but just enough to get them to stop. Like we were talking about before, guy like Super Evan taking an opportunity to just fly away. That movement mechanic, since the removal of bouncers, has kind of changed things up. Just another way that players are going to traverse the map in the middle of these big pushes.
No, this changed everything. Look, these guys from TK, they can just build on up and not have a care in the world and then begin to jump on off and glide towards the zone. They could not be further away, though, folks, as this rotation is going to be rough already. Frankie getting tagged on up, Johan just behind. Here comes the zone. The storm now closing. This is tough. Only 170 brick left for God. And there you go. The glide comes on in.
1 minute left on the Mega Raid bonus. Looks like he's going to swoop directly in on a team that almost had no idea that he was there, but gets caught off guard by a quick 180 shotgun.
Quick couple of limbs in. You see the fist bump coming on out. Icy and Okrit are there as well. The storm closing. Still, we had 66 players, now down to 59 with this one zone, and this is where the game begins to collapse quite quickly. Icy trying to move on through. You see Okrit getting tagged from up top. He's trying to build himself roofs. I believe this is still Tfue and Cloaksy. The stinks, absolutely great to force your opponent out of position. As again, they're inching on in. Now they're going to begin to build their one-by-ones, claim their territory. That's a great use of the pyramid to block the opposing player's build that was just below. He doesn't want the player to be able to edit out that floor, so they pyramid above it to give that extra bit of protection. They've got to claim that floor. Yep, beautifully done.
Replacement, like you said, just puts it immediately on top. Any of those non-possessed floors, like that natural roof right there, they're gonna destroy it and replace it immediately. Because, like you said, ownership of these surfaces is huge.
Yep.
When you're starting to build up around other teams, you see multiple teams, like you said, Tfue and Cloak still on the top.
He's got the heavy sniper as well. My gosh, we've seen what Tfue can do with this weapon. Just barely missed that shot.
Team rotating.
Now the Make It Rain bonus area did just end. We'll have updates for you guys at the end of the game of who winds up taking that home, or if someone winds up taking it home. Yes, that is very key.
If two teams tied on elimination count there, it's going to roll over to the next game. Tfue gets a shot there on Flowers, gets the elimination.
Absolutely 3 for this squad. That should be a point now for Tfue and Cloaksy. They are on the board. Remember, Cloak got those first 2 eliminations. Now, I believe it's almost time for them to go.
Now that heavy sniper is more than just the utility for getting eliminations at range. You'll see if we get to the late game and Tfue is built up directly next to someone, they'll use it as a breaching tool too, because it will one-shot any surface that a player builds up. Now, there's that Cloak, the Tfue and Cloak are going to go for the deploy on the glider there, try and get immediate height advantage in the team underneath. These guys are, they always, I feel like, have a top-down view of everybody.
But
big
this time,
shots on Tfue.
He just got rocked right there. Going to go ahead and pop these minis and the slurp. We'll put him at around 145 total HP in there. Great use of bandages. The slurp will, if he can get these bandages up to 75, the slurp will fully get him back at 200 HP. Cloak's just protecting him right now.
Do everything he can while Tfue's trying to heal back up. And it looks like there is a team pushing up immediately to the northwest. They're going to build up. Now, because of the glider change, these fights can play out a little differently than we've seen in the past.
A lot different.
Tfue and Cloak, if they feel like they're going to get shot down, maybe somebody's going to get the height advantage on them, they could just jump off and glide away.
Yep. No, that's completely changed how the game is played now. This would be almost certain death being this high up with so many players around. There's a look at the match stats right now. Almost 20 minutes into this game, still 49 players left, which is just absolutely nuts.
We've seen pretty stacked lobbies like this in the past. We're getting ready for that storm to move here in 12 seconds. Guarantee you Tfue and Cloak are going to take that glider.
This is that high ground.
Actually, Tfue and Cloak are split. They have Okrit is stacked between them in the tower that they're in. I'm assuming Crit's teammate is down below at the very bottom.
But see, Cloak still has a rift to go, so I'm wondering if they use the rift to go right now to get, easy rotations. It looks like they're going to try to farm a limbs right here. Some great tags, players beginning to glide. Everyone now soaring through the air as it's an all-out race for this next zone. Waiting, dropping down right at the perfect time. Now Cloaksy on the ground, looks to try to claim one area as his own. This is where the lobbies begin to drop quick. Take a look at that player number on the right side of your screen. Still 30 seconds on this rotation. Nice now down, Ashton now down. You see Bartonologist has been eliminated. The lobby beginning to drop like flies as everyone has begun an all-out assault, Lupo, and this is honestly how you expect it to go.
Now the zone, the travel distance in the zone was so far that no one had an opportunity to drop straight into the next safe zone and build up. Everyone was forced into a fight there. The player count still going down. Everyone is still moving. You could see in the top left of the screen for a moment there, people still stuck outside the zone. Tfue and Cloak trying to make their way inside, building up just each layer one at a time, and even a window there in case they need to cover each other through the layers. Just trying to take as many shots as they can.
This 8 damage zone. This 8 damage zone.
Multiple players going down to the zone. You see in your feed there. Mr. Gubber gets a double there. General Vicaros goes down.
And look, only 20 players left now. Tfue gets the knock onto Mars. A great shot from Mitro, who had one of the best plays. You see 5 eliminations, and now everyone gets brought up by the Rift to go, and this will completely change it. They're going to try to just slowly float on down, ride this zone on over. You see Mitro, he's scanning the ground right now. Where's my best place? Where can I land and begin to secure some sort of area and solid footing? 5 elims from Mitro himself.
The only risk right now with a slow drop is if players down there secure a little box for themselves and look up, they can take shots on a lot of these players that are just floating in. Cloak and Tfue landing on top of each other.
And that's that beautiful communication. Think of that call out, right? Like, look at all the little builds there are. They know exactly which box they want to land on in. 16 players left. We're now moving towards when the bonus points come in for those top placings. Remember, 4th and 5th place, you get a point. 2nd or 3rd, you get 2 points. First, the Victory Royale, 3 points. Everyone has that on their mind. 12 players remaining. Cloaksy now knocked. Tfue with a quick shot of a heavy will look for the elimination himself. Will he be able to save Cloak? I just don't believe so with this zone moving on in. It's all down to Tfue. He's building on up. 7 players left. I believe he has the high ground for the moment. And it just seems like, Lupo, he is always in these positions.
This is a position we've seen him in so many times in the past through
4 left.
Fall skirmish, summer skirmish. This is, and there you go, using that heavy snipe as a way to breach through surfaces.
It's a 1v1v1. It's a 1v1v1, and Tfue still has the high ground. You cannot make this up. This has all the signs of a Tfue and Cloaksy Game 1 victory here. Oh, I thought he was about to fall on down, but no, doesn't seem the case. Remember, all these players still left have each earned 2 points automatically for their top 3 placing. But who will get the extra point for the Victory Royale? The zone moving on in. Only 29 health for Mitro. This zone will chunk him on down. There's the quick shot from Hero. The double barrel's so good.
1v1.
Tfue looks like he's ready for the heal. It's not going to come on in. Tfue blocked by the tree. But Hero gets dropped by the storm. And just like that, Tfue and Cloaksy set the tone and prove why they are 2 of the favorites here this weekend.
Not even a little surprised, to be quite honest with you. We've seen Tfue, even while he had the flu multiple weeks in the past. Tfue, like just dominating, still dominating.
Absolutely wild as this man is able to clutch it on up. You see the fist bumps and the pop off there from Cloaksy, the excitement coming on in. What a great start here to the weekend. So many players stacked that up, but look, 20 minutes in, there was 49 players left. 5 minutes later, we have a winner. That's how crazy the ending zones are. Here it is again. Hero was so low. You saw Tfue popping those bandages. He got absolutely rocked by that double barrel, but he got the bandage off in time, didn't get ticked by the storm, and there's the celebration from Tfue. And now, you've got to think, how many points did they just earn? Did they wind up getting a full 6 from that? For